Do you know what the zero waste program is?
No, I don't.
No.
Same. I am not really sure what exactly it is. All I know is there's a lot of recycling involved.
I don't know anything about it, actually. Could you tell me?
Basically, they just try to reduce the waste we have, and what waste we do have, they try to make sure that it's recycled and composted the proper way. Thank you.
So the Zero Waste program has been very successful at preventing waste at the university. In fact, we divert 59.1% of the university's physical waste away from landfills. And that's a big deal because landfill tipping fees are enormous. In Lane County, they have changed over the years between $40 and $70 a ton. And so we're saving huge amounts of money. For instance, our compost program alone generates almost 350 tons of compost every year. So we're really moving a tremendous volume of material. And not only are items not going to the landfill, but they're being reused. And the problem really with items going to the landfill is that they break down, and a lot of what's going into landfills, it's very hot underneath landfills, and it breaks down into methane, which is released, and methane is a greenhouse gas 20 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. And so by diverting things from the landfill, we're really also helping to reduce our human impacts on climate change. And the other problem with landfills is that they break down. And so you end up seeing toxic chemicals, for instance, leaching into the air, getting out into the water, into the soil. And so we're really wanting people to think about what are the very long-term consequences of what we own. Our program has been effective in a number of different ways. One, we have seen our diversion rate go up a lot. And in fact, in 2012 was the first year that we crossed the 50% threshold, that we were recycling and composting more than we were throwing away. And we've grown another 9% since then. And in fact, we've been growing more or less since we started. We've been just almost constantly collecting new materials, and we've never hit a threshold where we can't collect anymore. So we're still expanding and finding new ways and new partnerships, and we're constantly seeing student and departmental involvement. And this is an entirely voluntary program. There's no university policy that mandates that people recycle or compost. And so our success is really entirely dependent on people's participation, and the fact that we're seeing more materials coming to us and a greater percentage of materials from the overall university waste stream really tells us that our program has been successful in involving more and more partners over time. I think some of the long-term vision of the Zero Waste program involves a lot more reaching out, expanding our educational capacities. It would be wonderful to be able to have more outreach in the residence halls and work with people when they're first coming onto campus to really explore the idea of zero waste. Because again, I think recycling is like a fairly commonplace concept, but a lot of people haven't thought about the idea of what it means to go totally zero waste, what it means to remove ourselves from landfills entirely. One of the best ways to get involved is to use our system. And that's the simplest ways, that we need people to actively be recycling and composting. Because when people don't use our system, that material is going in the landfill. And when people don't use that system, or if they use it incorrectly, it's going to end up contaminating things. If we're putting liquid bottles in the paper containers or compost in the paper containers, that's going to put food waste on the paper, which contaminates it, and that makes it a product that we can't use. We're a voluntary program, and people being involved with our program has been so critical to our survival and our sustaining our program and the growing of our program. And it's by people being excitedly involved that really makes us work. It has been a really beautiful process to watch everything grow and see more people become involved, and to see us be able to take more material and take so much material, handling hundreds of tons of paper, of glass, metal, and plastic and compost. It's so empowering to see that not going to the landfill and being able to handle that and turn that over. It's so rewarding seeing all that material not being thrown away. It speaks not only to the commitment of our program, but the commitment of so many students, so many faculty, so many staff that are really like, hey, I care about this. And to be part of that is really beautiful. And the best thing to leave with is go zero waste!